What it do, Ski YouTube? It's your boy Malcolm back with another video, and today we have easily a second iteration of one of the most hyped Air Jordan releases of 2021. You can tell by the box already, it is a Jordan 1. It is a cousin or a distant relative, if you will, of one of my favorite releases from this year, the Air Jordan 1 Neutral Gray High. We have the Air Jordan 1 Low OG silhouette in the neutral gray colorway, and this shoe has a lot of hype to live up to. So let's take a closer look if it does that. But before all that, as per usual, make sure to slap that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. Come along, let's take a closer look at this shoe. Oh, those bars right there. All right, so when it comes to the Air Jordan 1 silhouette, it is a timeless classic, and it's actually been around since 1985. This colorway specifically has been around since then as well, but the low cut of the Air Jordan 1 was more of an off-court option versus the high silhouette, which was synonymous with Michael Jordan and everything that he stood for. So with that being said, Jordan Brand actually opted to go back into the vault one more time to bring out an OG silhouette and an OG color as a re-released decades later. So this shoe actually re-released a couple of times in different kind of iterations, but I think that this model specifically is probably going to be the closest to the OG silhouette and the OG materials. But with that being said, the box, it is regular. We have the usual black and red Nike box, super synonymous with the Air Jordan 1 line, and no real bells and whistles on it, but hey, it's all about what's inside, right? So pulling back the top and the usual white paper, here we have it. The pièce de résistance, the Air Jordan 1 Low OG silhouette in the neutral gray colorway, and this looks pretty clean in hand, and I'm pretty sure the camera's picking up all the details on this. If you know me, then you know the Air Jordan 1 is easily one of my most favorite silhouettes to wear. When it comes to this shoe, the silhouette is timeless, and it's one of those few iterations of a shoe that actually look just as good beaten up as it does brand new. So this neutral gray colorway, honestly, I think is gonna age very, very well. But with that being said, there's no better feeling than fresh shoes, and this is exactly what this kind of encapsulates. So the details are super minimal, but I like to take my time and really run you through it from front to back. There's gonna be some slight changes from what you're used to in terms of an Air Jordan 1 Low that have come across the last couple of years, specifically in terms of the branding on the tongue, as well as the Wings logo on the heel. So let's take a closer look. And as per usual, let's start with the upper. When it comes to this shoe, honestly, it is pretty plain and minimalistic, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. In this instance, I would definitely say less is more, just because the details that are there that were done right really take this shoe from regular to outstanding and make it live to the hype that was already there. Specifically, when it comes to the upper, the materials are pretty good. In usual Jordan 1 fashion, they actually opted to give you a fully white tumbled leather upper. It's pretty soft to the touch, and in terms of quality, I can't complain at all. Whether it's the suede swooshes in that neutral gray colorway or the actual all white tumbled leather, it feels super plush to the touch and definitely comparable to the Jordan 1 High. With that being said, I would say off the rip of having both of those shoes in hand, the high versus the low, this shoe seems a lot more comfortable because those highs were like cinder blocks, as I was saying back then, on foot. And it seems that when putting this on, it's definitely gonna be something that's a lot more comfortable from the first wear. Specifically, a couple of things that most Jordan 1s are synonymous with. When it comes to the toe box, you have those perforations all on the toe box with the different layers of leather. And then moving on to the toe itself, it's all kind of encapsulated with the white and white stitching, really making it a great shoe for the summertime. And then right above the toe, you have the usual Air Jordan 1 nylon tongue. And with that comes the usual flat white laces. But similar to the neutral gray high, they actually opted to give you some gray laces as well in comparison. So depending which way you want to go with it, you can change the whole aesthetic of the shoe, because I know white on white can be kind of overbearing sometimes. Personally, for me, I'm gonna keep the white laces in there just because it's a crispy shoe. When you have a fresh white shoe, there's not much that anyone can tell you. It's just clean, you know? It's just clean, you know? Moving on to the tongue of the shoe, main difference you're gonna notice between this silhouette and the other iterations of Air Jordan 1 Lows is instead of the Jumpman tag, they actually opted to give you that good old Nike Air, really paying a homage to the OG Nike releases and the 85 that this came from. Moving on to the guts of the shoe, they really opted to keep it pretty plain. Once again, it's gonna be that neutral gray contrasting with the white insole And in terms of materials, it's that usual kind of canvas material on the heel liner. Super comfortable, I'm not gonna lie. The insole is completely white, and the only kind of branding you'll see is the Nike Air It, a neutral gray right under your heel. When it comes to the lateral and medial side of the shoe, once again, the only thing you'll see is that iconic Nike swoosh in this nice kind of low-haired suede in the neutral gray colorway, which I can appreciate for sure. Bringing us to the back of the shoe, this is a real pièce de résistance. We have the Jumpman Wings logo with the neutral gray on gray hit when it comes to the actual Wings logo itself. And it is printed instead of embossed. And it actually is lower than what you're used to seeing on the Air Jordan 1 silhouettes that have come out in the past, because they wanted to stay true to form with the OG Jordan 1 low hits. So right below that heel tab with the gray on gray, you have the usual tumbled white leather, completing the upper. Nothing to complain about so far. I think it's a solid shoe. And in terms of wearability and detail, this is definitely gonna be one of the most wearable shoes for this summer, easily. Moving on to the midsole of the shoe, usual characteristics of a Jordan 1 with the all white leather hits, contrasted by that neutral gray outsole, which we have right here. And obviously, one of the best traction patterns in the game when it comes to the Air Jordan 1. We have the Nike branding right in the forefoot, and then towards the top of the toe for all my OG Jordan heads. And this is how you can tell if your shoe's used or not. We have the usual star pattern right under the toe. And I hope the camera's picking that up. One of the ways you used to be able to tell when you were buying kind of things on the secondary market is how well the shoe was used. And if any of these stars are missing, then you know someone was doing a little bit of basketball on them. But these are all intact, thankfully, and it's really a really clean shoe in hand, and I have no complaints, honestly. I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan 1 lows personally. The kind of hierarchy goes Jordan 1 high, Jordan 1 low, Jordan 1 mid. If you know, you know. But these are a solid case to be added to my collection, because seeing them in person now, I can't really fault them at all. Like, they're super plain and simple, but with that being said, they're a seriously nice shoe. So all in all, that's about it in terms of details, but I know what you're wondering. In terms of sizing, how do they compare to the high silhouettes? And in terms of releases, when are they coming out? I'm glad to say, thankfully, Jordan 1s in general run true to size. So if you're a size 10.5, such as myself, stick to 10.5. If you want a little bit more wiggle room, you'd be happy to size up and you should be fine. But if you like a true snug fit, stick to your true size. And in terms of releases, this shoe is actually coming out very soon. It's slated to release on June 24th for a retail price of $170 Canadian before taxes. And in terms of release methodology, make sure to stay tuned with Nrml on all social channels, because they're going to decide whether it's going to be a raffle or kind of a first come first serve kind of thing. Who knows? They like to switch it up, as you know, so just make sure to keep those post notifications on. But with all that being said, what do you think about this shoe? Do you think that it lives up to the hype of the OG silhouette and kind of makes a good contrast to the high cut? Or do you think that it's kind of just basic and kind of boring? Either way, an opinion could be good. For me, I think you already know what I'm gonna say. I think that yes, it is pretty plain, but realistically, you're not gonna find that many cleaner white shoes, pun intended, than this. And if you have this in your collection for summertime, you're gonna be wearing it all the time as kind of those go-to shoes when you go to an event, if you can do that in your city yet. So I think it's a solid addition, honestly. So with all that in mind, that's about it for today's video. Once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and really tell me if you're gonna cop these, because I really hope you have a chance to. I think they're gonna sell out just based off the hype of the neutral gray 1 highs, and I know that the lows will be a lot more accessible for most people because it's not that 85 cut, but it still has that kind of 85 silhouette. So I ain't mad at that at all. Solid shoe, in all honesty. So that's about it for today. As per usual, if you want to stay up to date with everything streetwear and sneaker related, make sure to follow Nrml on all social channels. So that's going to be YouTube, where you're going to find your boy, Monty Malcolm. It's going to be Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and turn on those post notifications just so you can be first in line with whatever's coming out. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.